Another bank just collapsed. It just went to zero. I want to explain what happened and talk about how this affects crypto. We also have something big that's happening within about 72 hours, actually less than that at the time of this recording. And we have some news from an altcoin that I've covered a handful of times on the channel. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. There's also going to be a link underneath the video to Margex, where you can trade cryptocurrency using leverage. Now, this is something that you can do during a bull market, something you can do during a bear market, but I think it's better during a bull because we have more upside potential. Also, we have been pretty close recently to the support that we've seen around 60,000, 59,000. Maybe you want to put in a long, right? Get ready for this next bull run or this next move up. So if you want to check this out, there's a link to it underneath the video. And in case you didn't know, you can also refer other people. So you can actually go to this referral section, click on it, and you can refer other friends of yours too. And then you get part of their referral or part of their fees as well. So if you have some big whale trader, you can set them up with Margex. And they have this new convert function, which has been pretty awesome so far. 0 fees, and you can convert in between different assets. So definitely check this out underneath the video. There's also a link to CoinW as well in case you want to trade on a different platform. This is now one of the largest platforms in the world, CoinW. It's number 5 on the derivatives list over on CoinMarketCap. And when you sign up, you get a bunch of deposit bonuses. You also get access to a private group with pro traders that's over on Telegram. But you only get that if you use our link. So definitely check that out underneath the video. Now let's get into the content. Here we have breaking news last night. Republic First Bank officially collapses and seized by regulators. Buy Bitcoin. Right now, I mean, they say Bitcoin is risky though. So yeah, it's funny. It's funny. They say that they're here to protect you, but somehow an asset that was worth $220 per share went down to 0.04 over the last 2 years. Right? So it went down 99.98%, really protecting those investors for sure. Now, the good thing is, it does seem like the depositors were taken care of. I know in the past, when other banks collapsed, there was some question whether they were going to back up the depositors after they were above that $250,000 limit. It seems like these are going to be backed up. They say that it's going to be taken over by another bank. And where was it? Here. Republic Bank had about $6 billion in total assets and $4 billion in total deposits as of January 31st, 2024. The FDIC estimated the cost of the failure to its fund to be $667 million. Apart from the deposits, Republic also had borrowings and other liabilities of approximately $1.3 billion. So it allows some other bank to double its reach in a certain region. And yeah, the depositors are okay, but still, I mean, this is costing $1 billion. Where do you think this all comes from in the end? Who do you think pays for this kind of stuff? But again, they're protecting you in crypto, not allowing you to use certain self-custody wallet solutions now, or forcing them out of the US. That's been some of the news recently. You know, this is also important to take a look at because it really underscores the importance of Bitcoin, having self-sovereignty, having control of your money, because there is counterparty risk, even in banks, right? The government says, we don't want to pay for this bank. It's either too small or too big, or we don't want to sell it. No one wants to buy it. You know, the depositors are screwed, right? And if you have over $250,000 at one of these banks, you're not necessarily insured. It's kind of crazy, but a lot of businesses have to have over $250,000, right? Or a lot of wealthy individuals have over $250,000. And if, you know, a company needs to meet payroll, unless they have money at several different banks, or maybe they have some Bitcoin, they could be screwed. That's another reason that you might want Bitcoin as a company, is you actually hold it, you actually control it, right? The value in US dollars might change over time, but first of all, it's not automatically devalued year after year systematically. And 2, you can get access to it whenever you need it, right? So another big selling point for Bitcoin when banks collapse. Now, how does this affect crypto short term? Well, last time we saw a lot of the bank collapses, we actually saw Bitcoin spike up. Now, we didn't get that news last night. There's actually some other fear that kind of hit the market. Someone misread something, and I'll explain that here in a second. But we didn't move up on this news last night at all. But it should continue to kind of push the Fed to lower rates. Now, do I think they're going to lower rates just because of this? No. They know this stuff is going to happen, and they're okay with a little bit of collateral damage. But it reminds them, okay, when we can lower rates, we should, right? And there's been some higher inflation prints recently, some lower GDPs. So that kind of scared the market a bit this week. But the Fed meets next week. They're going to announce the rate hold, most likely. There's only a 2.4% chance that we get a rate cut. There's a 97.6% chance that they just hold rates. And that's pretty much the expectation for June as well. That's the expectation for July. And then starting in September, that's when we flip to thinking there's going to be a rate cut. So yeah, the Fed's going to speak next week. We'll have to pay attention to see exactly. This is interesting. This is really interesting. I could be wrong, but I believe Kansas City Cattle Company is the company that accepts Bitcoin. Okay, sorry, I got on a tangent there, but let's take a look at this. Kansas City Cattle Company. Yeah, this is the cattle company that owns Bitcoin, that's using it as a treasury asset. Really interesting. I'm getting ads for it while I'm looking at the Fed Rate Monitor tool. I'm surprised that they don't have anything about Bitcoin in this advertisement, but really interesting there. Google knows me pretty well, I guess. But let's move on. So Jerome Powell's going to speak next week and probably give some thoughts on the economy, thoughts on inflation. Yeah, we're going to have to deal with that, see how the market shakes out from that. But starting the 30th, which is Tuesday, Hong Kong Bitcoin ETFs will launch. Chinese investors with Hong Kong resident permits will be allowed to buy shares in these new Bitcoin ETFs. So there's more capital that's unlocked that could flow into Bitcoin. And they don't have a huge overhang like GBTC, as far as I know, right? So this should be just, net positive for the space. Now, we did have one other thing that scared the market last night. Dylan LeClaire, who is one of the top Bitcoin analysts over on Twitter, has a big reach, talked about how all of a sudden you weren't going to be able to use the Bitcoin ETFs as collateral, or you weren't going to be able to get loans on them. Now, this, I think, scared the market a bit because some people do want to take loans on them one day. I have bought some of the Bitcoin ETFs, and that's one of the big selling points, is that you can have extra liquidity. You don't have to use more risky third parties, right? You could just go to Fidelity and be like, hey, I want a loan on my portfolio. Now, I'm not doing that yet, but one day I may want to. Last night, Dylan LeClaire said that that's basically not going to happen anymore. He misread something, though. Apparently, he was wrong about that. So it kind of scared the market, I think, for a little bit. It didn't get passed around Twitter too much. And to be honest, the wording was a little bit difficult, I think, for a lot of people to understand. But now it seems like you're going to be able to get loans against your Bitcoin ETFs. And he said, didn't mean for the alarm tonight on the DTCC news. I even read the doc before posting. Seems like an initial misinterpretation. Apologies. Owning it, of course. So I think he did delete his initial tweet about how people were going to not be able to take loans against their BTC ETFs, but he left up this one saying that, we're so back, right? But kind of just interesting. Obviously, some people have different reasons to hold Bitcoin than others. Some aren't just buying it just for the 10x. Some people are buying it because they want some price appreciation. They also want to be able to take loans against it. They want to sell covered calls against it. So when there's some kind of mix-up like this, when some people think that, hey, I can't do the thing that I wanted to do, it does freak out the market a bit. Now, EC has some big news. With solid growth and top 2 trending on CoinMarketCap in one day, we're ready to announce a new listing. Thanks to the community for insane support that you've shown us. Keep an eye on EC. New listing is coming next week. So they were up 23% in 24 hours, making a big splash, third, right above Bitcoin and below Pepe. But this is pretty big news to see another big listing. I am an investor in EC, just to be clear. I've talked about it many times in the channel. If you haven't already checked them out, they have a lot of people paying attention to them. I would go watch them. What they're trying to do is pretty cool with their gamified liquidity solution. Let me know your thoughts though underneath the video. Again, you can check out Margex if you want to trade cryptocurrency. Again, we're getting close to that support. You might want something like this set up so that way you can take along when we do hit support. But let me know your thoughts underneath the video. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.